What's happening, my fellow ghouls and ghoulettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris, and today I'm going to be doing my personal rankings of the Cenobites from Hulu's Hellraiser that is now streaming on Hulu. Not Disney Plus. Don't know why I said that in my review. I think I was just going off the cuff of Prey because Prey is streaming on Hulu and also Disney Plus, and I just assumed the same thing. Don't worry about it. So yes, just for a bit of fun, I thought I'd do my own personal rankings of the Cenobites. We have some brand new Cenobites and some familiar Cenobites to rank. Now, keep in mind, if you have not seen Hellraiser yet, this may come off as a spoiler for you guys in terms of Cenobite designs and whatnot, so my best advice, go watch the film, come back, but we're gonna have a bit of fun. But before we get to the rankings, I want you guys to drop in the comments down below your personal rankings of the Cenobites from this particular film, because it seems a general consensus, the standout for this film are the designs of the Cenobites, and it's something I've been obsessing over since I've watched the film, and that's why I wanted to do this video, because it's such beautiful special effects design, makeup design, creature design, and hell, I'd love to see some action figures of them. So we've got 8 Cenobites to rank in this video, so with that being said, let's get to it. Coming in at number 8 is the Voight Cenobite. So pretty safe to say Voight was a pretty bad dude and he was up to some shady shit in this film, and he gets his comeuppance at the end, and you see the process of him becoming a Cenobite right up at the end of the film, and essentially him being crucified. And the imagery of Voight's Cenobite is quite haunting. We see the process, like I said, all the skin gets peeled away, the skin on his cheeks gets peeled away and fastened to the side of his shoulders with some steel poles, and then nails are put through him, or should I say pins. And then as it pans out for the very last shot of the film, we see him crucified, and it's a beautifully haunting shot, and I do love this. That's why I'm ranking him so low on the list. It is a great looking Cenobite. I'd love to see more of Voight's Cenobite, but we only get a couple of seconds in terms of a good glimpse of him. Coming in at number 7 is the Chattera. So we all know and love the Chattera from the original Hellraiser films, and this Chattera has undergone a massive redesign. And you know, being a prop maker, molder and stuff like that, I love the design. Some design aspects on the body of the Chattera remind me of like a fiberglass mold with all the wing nut bolts around the bottom here. It's really cool to see. The Chattera is essentially fastened together, but at the same time, you look at the back of him and there's all exposed muscle, tissue, bone, flesh and stuff like that, and it just looks so badass. And that's what I love about these Cenobites. They have replaced the leather garments with flesh garments. It's a very lighter, whiter aesthetic as opposed to the shiny black aesthetic of the Cenobites from the other films. And I think because the Chattera is so low on my list is I still prefer the original rendition of the Chattera, and I also really do appreciate the Chattera from Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and I know it's a very unpopular opinion. I kind of dig the eyes in the second one. Like I said in my 10 fun facts about the Hellraiser franchise, when they added the eyes in for actor Nicholas Vince so he could see his actual own eyes, I think there's something just so striking and haunting about that, because they're real eyes, they're not puppet eyes, animatronic eyes, lenses and stuff like that. They're real human eyes, and that kind of strikes a disturbing chord a little bit more than no eyes at all. Again, pure preference. This whole video is pure preference, ghouls and ghoulettes, but I just still prefer the original look of the Chattera. Still great looking in this film, don't get me wrong. I got certain Slender Man vibes from this one. Like, the actor who portrays the Chattera is quite tall. He is a big dude. And that's perfect. That's what you need. You need that otherworldly, imposing force that is the Chattera. Whereas you got Nicholas Vince, who's like my height, like average height. Coming in at number 6 is the Asfix. Try saying that 20 times. The sound design with some of these Cenobites is incredible and haunting, and some of them I wish wouldn't speak, and when they did, it kind of ruined the illusion. I just loved hearing the sound effects of them weeping and breathing, and in this case, the Asfix has like a wheezing sound effect because they have what looks like flesh pinned over their face. Very reminiscent of the Silent Hill nurse. Those are the vibes I got, especially when it's walking and it's all creaking and you hear all the bones cracking. It's fucking amazing. We see an exposed spine on the back, and again, the designs of these are incredible. It just would have been a field day in the design room. I really want to see the concept designs of these Cenobites and the different stages they've gone through to get to each final look. The Asfix is a great looking Cenobite. Towards the end of the film, we see it gets stuck in the cages in Voight's mansion, and essentially the flesh starts ripping off, exposing the face under there. But I think with this one, it comes down to the sound effects, the breathing, the wheezing. It's haunting. When you hear that coming from the darkness, perfect. Coming in at number 5, we have the mask. So when Jamie Clayton's Pinhead, or in this case the priest, was revealed, we also got a good look at the mask. David Bruckner did an article, did an interview, and released a photo of Jamie Clayton's the priest and the mask. The mask is quite interesting. It dead set looks like a face stretched over canvas, or in this case a wire armature. And the markings on the body are incredible. A lot of these Cenobites do have some sort of marking on them. I don't know exactly what it is. I'd really just have to look into it and read it. I'm sure some of you guys would know. If you want to let me know in the comments, that would be fucking amazing. But I just do love the sort of scarification that's going on. Panels of flesh missing, much like the priest. There's just garments of flesh everywhere, and there's just no bones in the face, no skull, no nothing, just a faceless, fleshy panel stretched over a wire armature. I really want to see the before, like the raw shot of this. Like, how was this done? Is this someone in a creature suit where their head stops here and then the actual mask keeps going? Or was there like a green screen, or they had to remove certain parts? I don't know. I would like to know how much visual effects is involved with cleaning up certain parts of the Cenobites. You know, obviously there's a lot of practical going on. That's what they were going for. You know, your mixtures of foam latex and silicone suits, silicone appliances and stuff like that. But I want to know if there was much visual effects involved in terms of cleaning or complementing the practical effects of these Cenobites. Coming in at number 4 is the Ghast. Now, to me, this is Pinhead's right-hand person. I feel when Pinhead, or the priest should I say, is not around, the Ghast comes in and does all the talking. Very reminiscent of the female Cenobite from the first 2 Hellraiser films, with that exposed throat. And someone made a good point in the comment section of my review. Some of the Cenobites look very alien-like, and thinking back, I'm like, yeah, they do. Especially the Ghast. There is just something so alien-esque. But like I said, a lot of the Cenobites, when they talk, it ruins the illusion. I'd love it if none of them except the priest spoke. There's something just so haunting about just hearing sound effects and them wheezing, gasping for air, not uttering a word. You got the Asfix, who's covered by flesh, who can't speak properly. And again, like the mask, that scarification, the beautiful bindings of flesh weaving almost like a wicker basket. It's absolutely brilliantly beautiful to look at. The actress portraying the Ghast did a phenomenal job. Just has that stoic look, all in the eyes, even though her eyes are covered with those massive contact lenses that essentially cup half of your eyeball. I can only imagine how uncomfortable that would be, let alone being in all that makeup. And I can imagine there'd be a lot of tension because she has that big armature over her head coming down to the neck opening. It's absolutely phenomenal. I would love to see the process of getting into this suit, applying the appliances, and how long that would take, because that is dedication right there. Coming in at number 3, and this contradicts my ranking of Voight because we don't see much of him, but my number 3 is the mother. And from what I understand and from what I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, we only see one shot of the mother Cenobite towards the end of the film. We see her stalking Colin in Voight's mansion. But in that one shot alone, scared the shit out of me. Granted, I've had to enhance it to get a proper look, but it seems as though this Cenobite is with child. But just the look on the face, the shroud that's over the head, is fucking haunting. I loved it. I want to see more of this Cenobite, like the Voight Cenobite. I would be interested to know if there was more footage shot of the mother Cenobite. It just makes more sense. All that work you put into a creature suit just to have them in one shot. Again, from what I can see in the film, I only just remember seeing the mother Cenobite in one shot. I remember watching the film and that one shot, and I'm like, wait, who the fuck's that? That's a new Cenobite. So I hope there's more footage out there, let alone we see more of the mother Cenobite if they are going to do more films around these designs of the Cenobites. I think in this case, less is more can work sometimes, and it definitely has, because it's got me intrigued. It's left me haunted just from seeing that one image of the mother coming around the corner to stalk Colin, and you can see it's holding its belly like it's with child. That's so fucked up. I love it. Coming in at number 2, and this was very hard. It was a back and forth between these two, but coming in at number 2 is the Weeper. I remember first seeing the Weeper in the trailer, and it was a quick little glimpse. This particular shot right here, and I thought, what in the name of fuck is that? That looks horrifying. Then the Weeper is introduced. Pardon me. Oh, jeez. Then the Weeper is introduced in the film through sound. You hear it weeping, wheezing, gasping for air, and almost giggling and weeping to itself. And then we see the Ghast take a pin from its eye, and the eye heals instantly. It's so disgusting and so fucked up, and I absolutely loved it. And there's just wires, hooks, everything going on. I love the kind of sail panels on the shoulders of the Weeper. And then at the end of the film, when the Weeper is standing alongside with the priest and the gasp. They're standing outside the front of Voight's mansion. We see the hands split apart. It's like as if it's entering final form, Weeper. It's amazing to see. It's kind of like different stages of a Cenobite. This is the one that I'd love a statue of, or it's just some sort of figure. I really hope down the track that they eventually do figures. Maybe NECA will do them, I don't know, but I would love an action figure of the Weeper, and that's why it's coming in at my number 2. It's just so otherworldly, so disturbingly terrifying, and the sound design, the wheezing, the weeping, the kind of childlike giggling to itself. And of course, coming in at number 1 is the priest, aka Pinhead, portrayed brilliantly by Jamie Clayton. This is a wonderful redesign of the famous character of Pinhead portrayed by Doug Bradley. Some other actors went on to portray him, not so much in a good way, but Jamie Clayton is definitely a breath of fresh air, and this redesign, in my opinion, is a breath of fresh air. Like I said, replacing leather garments for flesh garments. There is a flesh tunic that adorns her mangled, manipulated, flesh-torn body. Just panels of flesh missing, but in a beautiful, elegant way. The symmetry is on point. And I love this time around, they're going for an actual aesthetic of pins, but like thick pins with the rounded head as opposed to the flat head like Doug Bradley's Pinhead. And we see in one sequence of the film, the priest pulls one of the pins out and they're dead set, like that long. It's not like just little ones just resting under the surface. These things are deep embedded in the head. I remember watching that scene and cringing. I'm like, oh my God, that looks so painful. So with all the Cenobites, but especially the priest, I hope we get some good behind the scenes footage coming out. There are certain behind the scenes photos that have emerged. I don't think it is of Jamie Clayton. I think it might be the double or like the stunt performer or the stand-in or whatnot, because it does not look like Jamie Clayton in the makeup, and they're touching up the neck and putting all the gore effects. Like the effects artists are all gloved up, putting all the gel and the nasty stuff on the neck. And I'm looking at the face, I'm like, that's not Jamie Clayton, unless it's just under such harsh, raw lighting conditions. That is her, and that's how the makeup looks on her without controlled lighting, you know, post-production, color grading and stuff like that. But I want to know, you know, is this like a silicone prosthetic they've done? Is it good old foam latex? I think for the most part they've opted for a lot of silicone, because silicone reads a lot more like flesh on camera as opposed to foam latex. You can try and paint foam latex in a way, but it is quite a process to get to there, whereas silicone, usually straight out of the mold, it reads pretty well if you've tinted it, if you've flocked it in a certain way. It can read like flesh really well on camera without having done anything to it. So it was really hard to either go number 1, we're gonna do the Weeper, number 2, the priest, but overall, like, a Pinhead is such a wonderful and iconic character. In this case, they've named the character the priest in the film, and I think Jamie Clayton just works that makeup, works that suit, because it is a tough slug to do when you're filming like 12, 13, 14-hour days, and it takes several hours to get in and out of that thing. It's an absolute credit to the cast, the special effects crew. They should be commended for it. And there you have it, ghouls and ghoulettes. That was my personal ranking of the Cenobites from the new Hellraiser that is now streaming on Hulu. Like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know your rankings in the comments down below. What Cenobite really stood out to you the most? Again, it was just in the sound design with some of them. If some of them just had not have spoke, I think that would have been just so much more effective. Guys, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well, hope you're happy, be merry, be silly, and until next time, ghouls and ghoulettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.